What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Let the Film Speak. I am the only host today, your main man Chop. Usually here with my main man Willie Jack. He's not here today, man. Unfortunately, because he has some issues that are things that he has to get taken care of in regards to some at home stuff, man. So definitely missing you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You my partner in crime here, man. This is the part where I do the Willie check in. But hey, man, we're gonna hold it down. You hold it down for me, I hold it down for you. That's just the way it go. You know what I'm saying? But we still got to keep it going, man. We got a good show for y'all today, man. This show, in regards to today, is going to include, or we're going to talk about the overs and unders, man. We did overs and unders last week, but we did the NFC. This week, it's the AFC, man. Over and under the season win total predictions. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about today. We're going to jump into that, talk a little bit more about, if I think people are going to be over, if I think people are going to be under. And as we go through this today, I need everybody in the chat, man. Tap in with your boy. Let me know what's going on, man. Let me know. Hey, you think you're going over? You think you're going under? Tell me why. I need to hear all that, man. Talk to me. We're going to talk back for sure. So, of course, like I said, we got a good show for y'all today. But before we jump into that, as always, we got the house rules, man. And the house rules are like this, man. That's like, that share, that subscribe. The same as always. Become the newest member of the Film Fam. We truly appreciate all of the support that you guys, show us, all the love that you show us. And as I said before, man, you talk to us in the chat, we talk back, man. So we appreciate each and every one of y'all for doing that. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell, man. You hit that notification bell, how? So you're going to know what me and Willie Jack got coming up, man. What we got cooking, what's in the kitchen, what's for dinner. You know what I'm saying? I know you want to know all those answers. So if you want to know those answers, go ahead and hit that notification bell. And I guarantee you, we will not let you down. All right? First and foremost, let's jump into some news, man. And we had a light news week this week. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into it anyway, man. The first news of the day, we had DeAndre Hopkins released from the Arizona Cardinals. All right? Now, first and foremost, DeAndre Hopkins, he's been a receiver that's been in talks in terms of his future with Arizona since the 2022 season was over, and a lot of it had to do with his $30.75 million cap hit, okay, that he was on, one of the highest paid receivers in the league. Now, of course, he's 30 years old now. There's a lot of questions about if he's slowing down, or if he still has something left in the tank. And I just think with the state of the Arizona Cardinals and the direction that they're going and what they need to do to get back in position to be a competitive team and to build around Kyler Murray, I think that the thing is going to be, to get some younger talent, to free some money up to where they can make some moves that's going to be impactful for the future. So I think that's the direction they was looking to go anyway. So they end up cutting them. Now, of course, I thought it was going to be due to a trade. There was talks about the Dallas Cowboys being a potential trade candidate for the Arizona Cardinals and shipping them there, seeing what they can get from there. But overall, in this offseason, the Arizona Cardinals have been in trade conversations or open to trading him from, like I said, from jump since the season was over. So I'm not surprised by this move, given all the questions behind DeAndre Hopkins and, what he brings to the table at this stage, and what can he do? Is he worth the amount of money that teams were paying? And I imagine where they couldn't get a deal done was a team willing to take on that contract. Okay, he has a pretty large contract. So are teams willing to take on that contract and a trade with him? And I would imagine that teams were still wanting Arizona to still pay some of that contract. And hey, man, when you talking and going back and forth so much, sometimes it's hard to get a deal done. So I would imagine that is the primary reason why they couldn't necessarily get a trade done, which is why it ended up in his release. Now, that leads me to the next conversation, which is what are some potential landing spots for DeAndre Hopkins? Okay, he's still a talented receiver in my eyes, and I feel like there are plenty of landing spots that are out there for him. And the two that I really want to talk about includes the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. Okay, and I'll start with the Dallas Cowboys. In my opinion, the Cowboys have had an obvious need at an outside receiver spot since they got rid of Amari Cooper. Okay, if y'all been watching this show long enough, y'all know that I talk about the man beater all the time. The man beater. That's the guy that If it's man-to-man coverage, you got some sticky cornerbacks, some guys that can stay in the hip pocket of those receivers. You got to have a guy that can create that separation and move the chains, especially in third down situations, okay? Every team needs a man beater. Every team needs a guy that, no matter how he's able to beat it, he's able to beat it in key situations. You know what I mean? And you see that from a lot of the top teams, okay? What the Bills are consistently playing in, meaningful AFC games in the playoffs, and they have their man beater in Stephon Diggs. The Bengals recently put themselves in conversation. They had your Jamar Chase, and those type of guys. This was the first year that, Patrick Mahomes didn't have his Tyreek Hill, but he still had his Travis Kelce. So these top teams are guys that are consistently at the top of the league and playing amongst the best. They have that man beater, a guy that, if you're going to man me up, I got ways that I can get open, and I think the Dallas Cowboys kind of like that. I love CeeDee Lamb. Don't get me wrong. I love CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb is a good wide receiver, a really good wide receiver. Do I think he is that guy to create that separation and beat it and be that number one receiver 100% of the time? I'm still waiting to see a little bit more from him, in terms of that. So I feel like DeAndre Hopkins can be that perfect match over in Dallas and be that guy next to or on the other side of CeeDee Lamb, a guy that can put pressure on defenses and make plays. So I feel like that's one of the better spots, or better landing spots for him. But also the Cleveland Browns, okay? And the reason why is, of course, now they got Amari Cooper over there, the guy that I've been talking about, and they got a run game, they got an offensive line, they got all those different things. But they, too, are a team that can use one more weapon, okay? We saw David Njoku last season kind of step up a little bit and start to play a little bit better, when they went down the stretch with Jacoby Brissett, as their starting quarterback. But to reunite Deshaun Watson, especially if you're the Browns organization trying to get Deshaun Watson back to the level that he was playing at before he was out of the league, why not reunite him with his old running mate DeAndre Hopkins? DeAndre Hopkins, a few of his all-pro years were with Deshaun Watson. So reunite them. They already have that chemistry, like brothers. It's just been away for a couple years. Bring them back together. Be another weapon on the other side of Amari Cooper. And now you cooking with fish grease there. You cooking with fish grease. Now, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the win totals and things like that with this team. But I think that would be a great move for them. Now, I know it's Cleveland, and they might not be the place that he wants to finish his career off, especially at his age. But when you talk about a roster, they still have one of the better rosters. They just have to put it together. And the big question mark for the Cleveland Browns is Deshaun Watson. So for me, that would be the missing piece to that puzzle, is reuniting him back with the guy that he had success with over in Houston before everything went haywire. So those are my two potential landing spots. If we got some people in here, man, give me some landing spots. I want to see what's going on. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you're feeling, and, we can do it like that. All right. But without further ado, we're going to keep the show going, man. We're going to keep the show going. And we're going to go jumping right into it. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to go into some of these overs and unders. Like I said, we're doing the AFC today. So we're going to go through each and every team from the AFC. I'm going to tell you what the line is for the team. And just for people who didn't pay attention to last week's show, the line that we're using is the line from the Caesar Sportsbook. All right. The Vegas Caesar Sportsbook. So we're going to use that. That's the line we're going off of. And then, hey, like I said, I'm going to give you that over and under, let you know what I feel about the team, why I think they can go over or under on our specific things. All right. So let's start it off, man. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. The AFC East. All right. AFC East. Now, this is a pretty interesting division for me. We had a few different moves in terms of this division. Players, come over to this division, supposedly or on paper, makes this division a little bit more competitive. But that's something my opinion, I just want to see a little bit of, and I want to see, really how successful these teams can be. But let's start off with the Bills. The Bills are sitting at 10.5. I'm going to hit the over on this one, okay? I still, at the end of the day, I feel like the Bills are one of the better teams in that division, okay? Of course, they coming off last year at the 13-win season last year, and Josh Allen is going to continue to be Josh Allen. This defense is still going to be solid. Like, they still got a lot of those pieces in place to still be successful. Yeah, they lost maybe a couple. And what's the linebacker name? I think it's not. I was gonna say Tre'Davious White. It wasn't Tre'Davious. Edmonds. That was the linebacker that they had, a true athlete at the position, guy that was all over the field. But they don't lose too much. They still got Matt Milano, who in my opinion is their best linebacker on that team. And a very underrated one at that. Who is very good in coverage. He can do a lot of different things for this defense, and I still think this defense will be solid enough to be okay. And then on the other side of the ball, you still got Josh Allen able to put up a lot of points for this particular team. Okay, now you throw in Dalton Kincaid at that tight end position to add as another weapon on this offense. Now this adds another dimension to this offense. Something that we haven't necessarily seen. I think something that was missing last year in the playoffs against the Bengals. Yeah, they were dropping back, trying to make the long play, trying to make the big play after play after play. Now, a lot of it I put on the offensive coordinator, but at the same time, now you have that another guy that can win underneath. They can win on all different levels of the field, and it's not just Stephon Diggs. Once you put so many bodies on Stephon Diggs, and you got good coverage guys to guard the other guys, it's hard, man. It's hard to get the ball out because these guys are covered. So I still think the Bills are a really good team. Like I said, they were 13-3 last year, and I expect them to win another 13 games. And maybe they're 13-4 because they didn't get that one game against the Bengals because of the tragic incident. But excuse me. But I still think I got them winning over 10.5 games. This year going into the season. So I still think they are in control of this division until we see otherwise. Okay. Now let's go to the Patriots. Patriots are sitting at 7.5. Okay. And I'm sorry, maybe I was a year too early on my prediction. We're going to see what happens this year. But I'm going to go under on that. Okay. The Patriots are a team that, just like last year, in my opinion, everybody was getting better and they didn't. Okay. And I feel like it was more the same this year. Yeah. They added pieces through the draft and things of that nature. But I don't think the pieces that they added were going to amount to more wins for them this season, which is the reason why I got them under. They still rolling with Mac Jones. They still got question marks at QB, with this being the third year in the league, so there's a lot of question marks there. They lost. They still got Ramondre Stevenson at running back, but, who's going to be one of their good receivers? I mean, is it Juju Smith-Schuster? We've seen him at the number one receiver spot for a few years now, and he doesn't look super duper explosive. It doesn't look like he is the number one, the same number one that he was when he was a 2. I don't know if that makes sense, but at the number 2 spot, the guy was almost a 1,500-yard guy, but at the 1 spot, is struggling to get 1,000. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much they're going to get from him. And to be honest, now that I think about it, I wouldn't say he's that much different than Jacoby Myers, that receiver that they got rid of, and now they have Juju Smith-Schuster. So I got a lot of question marks for this team. As good of a coach as Belichick is, I don't know if he necessarily has enough to deal with I don't know if he has enough to deal with the lack of talent on this particular roster. Okay. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look who we got in the building. We got my dog, Willie Jack. Even though, man, he's got some stuff going on, he came in and checked us out. He said, "What's up, man?" He's saying, "What's up to the film fam? I appreciate you checking in." We got wifey in the building. My wife always hold me down. And also, don't forget, we got Mama Willie in the building too, man. So she in the building. Everybody in the gang, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate you for checking in. You know what I'm saying? Tuning in with your boy today, and we're going to hold it down. Willie Jack, I got you, bro. If don't nobody else got you, Willie Jack, your boy got you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm landing on these first 2 teams in the AFC East, the Bills and the Patriots. Man, under on the Patriots where they sit at 7.5, and I'm gonna go over with the Bills where they sit at 10.5. So that's where I'm sitting there. All right, now let's move to two of the more interesting teams. Okay, let's first start off with the Dolphins. Okay, so that we know the Dolphins story. The Dolphins were a very explosive offense, a solid defense. And the big thing with this team was the QB situation, okay? And that was the situation going into the season, but for a different reason. Going into the season, it was like, all right, can Tua be a good enough quarterback to lead this team to wins and to lead them and help them be successful? And Tua, when active, played well enough for this team to be a playoff contender or to be a playoff team. You know, they were playing some really good ball. They were, like I said, they were very explosive. And it wasn't just explosive on paper. They were explosive in the games. You know, so it translated. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. Tyreek Hill was doing his thing. Everybody pitched in and everybody played well. But then when Tua ran into those injuries and, you know, the concussions and, you know, all the different things that happened this past year, that kind of threw this team's rhythm off, which forced him to be a team that finished the season at 9-8, rather than I think this team could have been an 11-5 team. You know, so with that being the case, I still got them on paper right now. I still feel like they're a solid team. I still think they're good, and I feel like their defense has gotten better. Now Xavier Howard's got a really good running mate in Jalen Ramsey. You know, now this team has added pieces, and their young guys are getting a year older. Jalen Phillips is a year older. Now you get a full offseason with Chubb at defensive end. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different pieces that they have in place that I think can make this defense become a little bit better. And I'm really banking on Tua. I'm really banking on Tua to stay healthy this season, you know, to make it through. And if he is, I think this offense can still be dangerous. They can still do a lot of different things. And I also like what Mike McDaniel was doing. Mike McDaniel shows to be a very smart and what's the word I'm looking for? A smart coach. He's also he's very savvy as well in terms of being slick with play calling. It's a lot of different things that Mike McDaniel brings to the table that helps make this team a little bit better than what we a little bit better than what we probably thought they were going to be going into the season. So I'm gonna go over for the Dolphins, but barely over. I see them maybe getting 10, 11 wins. You know what I'm saying? And now, of course, everything stays healthy, but all these predictions are based off of every team stays healthy. You know, in my opinion, you know, if the Bills lose Josh Allen, we already know what's going on with that. You know, if the Chiefs lose Patrick Mahomes, you know, that's tremendous. So going into the season, I really hope that all these teams stay healthy. So with everybody being healthy, I got the Dolphins being over. Okay, I got them sitting at the right 10. Okay. Now, that brings me to the last team in this division, and that's the New York Jets. Jets. The New York Jets. Okay. Now, the biggest thing with this team, elephant in the room, we're going to address it. Aaron Rodgers. What does he look like? What does he bring to the table? You know what I mean? And I told y'all I had question marks from the very beginning on what he really is going to bring to this table and how good this team really can be. Because I'm not sold. I'm not sold that this team is going to be a top-notch team and a real contender because they brought over Aaron Rodgers. Now, do I think they're going to be a bad team? No. This is a 7-win team last year that easily could have won 2 to 3 more games, okay, which is the reason why I'm going to go over, okay? They were 7-10. They got a lot of pieces in place. I think with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, I think they can give them 3 wins. I put them at 3 extra wins. I put them barely over 9.5 as well. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a tough division, okay? It's going to be a division where the Bills, I think they earn the lead with it, and then the Jets are going to fight for that 2 spot in the division, and they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot when it all boils down. So, I'm going to go over in terms of this. So, I feel like this is going to be a key season for these Jets, man. I want to see Aaron Rodgers do his thing. I want to see how valuable are you, Aaron Rodgers. You got 3 MVPs. Come into this season, light it up and show how valuable you are. Take this team from a very talented team that has a lot of potential to they a legit contender. This team for real, and with Aaron Rodgers, this takes this team to the next level. Be that. I want to see you do that. I'm challenging you, Aaron Rodgers, today. You know, to come in and be that team because right now I feel like y'all are a borderline 9-10 win team. But with you, They everybody's saying you really nice with it, you know what I mean? And you've been talking a lot of years about, hey man, y'all ain't getting no receiver, or y'all ain't talked to me about getting Jordan Love. Well, show me something. Show me something. Because as I remind people, and I keep reminding y'all, the year that they drafted Jordan Love, this was the year after Aaron Rodgers had a bad season. He didn't have that typical Aaron Rodgers season. So just like any other coach would, that makes it make sense. Yeah, I'm drafting a quarterback because it looks like on the field, my quarterback that I have currently on my team is losing steam. It's getting old. Because we all know at the end of the day, Father Time is undefeated. We saw the GOAT this past season have one of the worst season he's ever had, ever. Father Time don't lose, man. I don't care how good you keep your body in shape. At the end of the day, Father Time gonna catch you. You know, and it's undefeated. It's called everybody. It probably didn't catch everybody at 35 or everybody at 38. Some people would caught a little bit later, but it's gonna catch you though in due time. In due time. So that's where we're staying with that, man. And I see you, Willie Jack, and he said innovator. Hey, that's a good word. You're right. Mike McDaniels, he is innovative, man. He is. And he said he did the new sound effect. Hey, Willie Jack, man, hey. You know what I'm saying? You ain't picked me as a partner for nothing. You ain't picked me as a partner for nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. Appreciate you, boy. Wish I had you in here with me, dog. But we're going to keep it pushing. Let's move on to the next division, man. And the next division we got on the slate is AFC North, man. The AFC North. And Willie Jack, since I got you in the chat, I'm gonna hit you up when we get to your team. Well, I'm gonna start it off with the Bengals, man. Start it off with the Bengals. I'm gonna go. Their line is 11.5. Okay. Now this one was kind of tough for me because the Bengals are a type of team where during the season sometimes they show a few inconsistencies. Okay, we know how good this team can be. You know, we know we've seen this team at the top of their game, and at the top of their game, they can be anybody. We've seen this team mop the floor with the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. You know, we've seen a lot of different things from this team, and also see this team being a missed block away from having Jamar Chase wide open on the right side up the sideline for a butt naked touchdown. You know, to win the Super Bowl. So we know how good this team can be, but like I said, they tend to show inconsistencies. And I'm hoping Orlando Brown coming over to be an addition to this offensive line can be the missing piece to help bring this line together. Because they brought up a lot of pieces this past season, and Joe Burrow was still one of the highest sack players in the NFL. So I want to see, does this make a difference? It also makes me wonder if Joe Burrow is the reason that he sacks so much and not necessarily because the offensive line is just awful or terrible. You know, so those are some things that I'm really thinking about and really wondering. I really want to see coming from the Bengals this season. With that, this is a tough one. I think the Bengals can get 12. So I'm going to go over the 11.5. I think they can get 12 wins. And if they get this 12 wins, I still think they're just as dangerous, you know, as they are each and every year. So I'm going to go 12 for the Cincinnati Bengals, man, and bring that over in terms of you know, the totals, man, and projecting those totals. Okay, so that's where I'm sitting at there. The next team we're gonna stop on, or we're gonna touch on, the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, now we know all of the additions or the re-signings or however you want to list it, however you want to say it, but we know what they've done in the offseason, and I really love what they've done in the offseason. I also touched on the difference from this, the difference of this team from when the first half of the season to like those last 8 or 9 games when they had Roquan Smith. This was the number 1 defense in the league since they added Roquan Smith at the second half of the season, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't like, all right, they bumped up just a little bit and it became a little bit better. No, this team was the number 1 defense by far. Now, and I want y'all to take this into consideration and think about the number 1 defense or the best defenses in the league last year. We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, okay? The San Francisco 49ers that didn't allow nothing to teams. We also talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, the league leading sack team. I think they may have broke the record on sacks in the season. This Baltimore Ravens team, for the second half of the season, their defense was better than both of those defenses the whole second half of the season, okay? The whole second half of the season. So if this team coming into this year, because Roquan is coming back, if this team going into this to this season can be the team that they were in the second half on defense, Lamar Jackson comes back, he hits the ground rolling and does what he usually does. J.K. Dobbins is fully healthy from the ACL injury a couple years ago. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman comes back fully healthy. If Odell Beckham stays healthy, that's a lot of ifs. Don't get me wrong. I understand it. It's a lot of ifs, y'all. I get it. But this is a dangerous team. And you talking about 9.5? Yeah, I'm banging it over on the 9.5 for this team. They got 10 wins last year, and they played about 4 or 5 games with their backup. You know what I mean? At QB, and without the rest of the weapons they added. So, oh yeah, I'm banging it over 9.5 for this Baltimore Ravens team, and I actually think they have a chance to threaten the lead in this division. Okay, they actually have their chance, and I also think this division is going to be a little bit more competitive than a lot of people feel. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get to a couple of these other teams and jump on them and we'll go from there, man. But yeah, I'm banging it over Baltimore Ravens where they sitting at 7.5. All right, I mean 9.5. I'm sorry, not Baltimore Ravens sitting at 9.5, and I'm still banging it over. Okay, now let's go to the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers. My dog Willie Jack's Pittsburgh Steelers. I couldn't wait to talk about him. I wish I could talk about him with him, but it's all right. I'm gonna touch on it for you. So here's the thing with the Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh, during their offseason, they add a couple different pieces on offense in that offensive line. Okay, I do think they addressed that, and I feel like they're going to improve there. Okay, Najee Harris, I think we're just waiting on him to have his breakout, and I think a lot of it depended on this offensive line. As I said before, Najee Harris is very similar to Derrick Henry in a sense. He's not the type of running back that can hit it or find a hole and do what he needs to do and has that quickness behind the line of scrimmage to find a hole and hit it and turn 0 into 3 or 4. If he doesn't get it going at the line of scrimmage or 1 yard beyond the line, if he gets 1 yard and he's moving forward and has the momentum going, that's when he becomes the most effective. So I think by the Steelers, adding some things on their offensive line, I think that's going to help him there. Okay. Now, George Pickens, I'm going to say it right now. And the Steelers have been great at this over the years. George Pickens is going to be nice at receiver, okay? He's going to be nice. He has all the qualities. He has the upside. He has the dog mentality. You know what I'm saying? He has all the tangibles and intangibles. He has all those different things. Has the size. He's a bully on the field. So he has all of those things. But can he take that next step? Can he go to that next level? Can he become, one of the great wide receivers in this league? I think he has the potential to be a true number 1 for sure, but he has to continue to improve. He also has to continue to build that relationship with Pickett, okay? Pickett's growth is going to be very important to this team's success. Can Pickett come in his second year, continuing to improve, and be a good quarterback? If he can be a good quarterback, I have no question. There's no question in my mind. Mike Tomlin is going to have this team in the mix. Okay, he's going to have this team right there. They bring over a veteran and Pat P. You still got T.J. Watt and Hayward on that defensive line with Highsmith as a perfect combination with those other guys. I think that they can be a good combination there, and if so, I think we're looking at something where they could possibly, compete for that last wild card spot, because it's going to be tough. But I think they could be in position to compete for that last wild card spot. But with that being said, that line is at 9. It ain't at 9.5. It ain't at 8.5. It's at 9. So basically, what y'all asking me is, are the Steelers going to get 10 wins, or are they going to get 8? And so I think they're going to get 9 wins, just being honest with you. But at the same time, for the sake of this game or the sake of this episode, I can't go 9, okay? So if I have more faith in one of those, I have more faith in the Steelers winning 10 games, because I don't think Tomlin going to have a losing season. I've seen it too many times. Tomlin ain't going down like that. You know what I'm saying? So because Tomlin is going to have a winning season, and I can't go with 9 because I really think they're going to win 9 games. I'm just going to roll with 10. I'm gonna say over on this one, but they probably going to end up winning 9 games. So that's where I'm standing there with that. I wish it was a push or something I can go with, but nah, that ain't fun. I'm going over. Steelers going to win 10 games this season, which leads me to the last team in the division, the Cleveland Browns. Okay. Now, the Cleveland Browns, they're coming off of a 7-10 season. Okay. Now, it looks like based off the line, they expect the Browns to improve just a little bit. Now, their line is at 8.5. Dang, can I go over with all the teams in this division? Or are there enough? Is there enough wins out there for these teams? That's very interesting. Now that's the part where I probably should have did a little bit more on that schedule, but we ain't gonna worry about that, okay? And I'm just gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna go over for the Browns too, because I got the Browns sitting at 9, maybe 10 wins. 9, maybe 10 wins. I got the Browns sitting at, and the reason why is because I do think they take that step forward. The step that we were talking about when I was talking about the possibility of DeAndre Hopkins going to the Cleveland Browns, being another weapon for Deshaun Watson. Even if he doesn't, I think Deshaun Watson with now a full offseason under his belt without something over his head, without other distractions, he will get a chance to get his full practice in, full everything in, and be a guy where he's going to take that step forward. And I think we're going to see a quarterback closer to what he was before he left the league than the quarterback that we saw last year. Last year, we saw a quarterback that looked, okay, talented but raw. Talented, but a guy that struggled with his accuracy, struggled with, reading the field. It looked exactly like a guy that hadn't played the game in a while. He was trying to get used to the speed of the game again. But I think with a full offseason, like I said, without those distractions, I think he gets back there. You also pair that with one of my favorite running backs in the league, and Nick Chubb, and the way he runs the ball behind that offensive line. And we're talking about a dangerous team. Because which one you going to stop? Nick Chubb is one of those running backs. You put 7 in a box, he going to find that spot. He's one of the few running backs who still average over 5 yards a carry throughout his career. And I think it's maybe only 2 other guys have done it in their career. And he's doing it now, and he's about 5-6 years in. Nick Chubb is one of the best in the league, and could be considered the best easily if he had a few more opportunities. He'll be amongst the league leaders every year. So with this team and what they're capable of and what they're doing, I think I'm gonna go over with the Cleveland Browns, and I got them at 9 to 10 wins because I do feel like Deshaun Watson takes a step forward, and this team still has a very, very solid roster. So that's why I'm gonna go over for the Cleveland Browns. All right. Now we're about halfway through the teams in the AFC, man. And since we're halfway through the teams in the AFC, and bear with me, I'm going to try to do this the best that I can. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this the best that I can. But, hey, check this out. Y'all need to tap in with the 3 amigos, man. Tap in with the 3 amigos that's like, that share, that subscribe, okay? You know what I'm saying? And then we got some more. We got a 4-part process for y'all, okay? I need you to tell your friend. I need you to tell your friend to tell his friend. And tell your friend to bring his friend. And tell your friend to bring his partner because we need 4. The more, the merrier. Come on in, check in with your boys, tap in, talk to us. Like I said, we talk back. We appreciate all the support, appreciate everything that y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Tap in with those 3 amigos, man. If y'all in here right now, I need everybody like, share, and subscribe. Share this all around. Share the good news. Talk to them about how we do things around here, how the kitchen is always open, how you always welcome. You know what I'm saying? How you always, got a plate at the table. Got a seat at the table because everybody got a seat at the table at Chop and Willie's house. On Let the Film Speak. You know what I mean? So tap in with your boys. We appreciate all the support. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Now, back to the regularly scheduled program. Okay? All right, let's move on to the second half, man. Move on to the second half, and I missed a couple comments. I apologize. My babe came here and she said Aaron Rodgers ain't bringing nothing but a beard and slick hair to the table. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, and that's what I'm worried that's all he bringing. I'm worried that all he is bringing is a beard and slick hair. You know what I mean? He might be solid. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't going to hate on him too bad. He might be solid. But, hey, my wife said, hey, I'm rolling with it. You know what I mean? They say happy wife, happy life. And I'm happy. You see it? Y'all see what they say. All right, let's keep on pushing, y'all. Now let's move on to the AFC South. All right, that's gonna be the next division that we tap into, the AFC South. And the first team I want to tap into in this division is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars is a very interesting team to me too, who have a lot of different question marks, but I do feel like they're moving in the right direction. Okay, I saw Trevor Lawrence take a step that I was waiting for him to take, as that #1 overall draft pick, in the draft that he was in. And it wasn't during the first half of the season, but that second half of the season, you saw him start to take those steps. You saw him start to show that, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for this league. I can handle this. I can handle the speed of the game. I can handle being the guy. I can handle this city. I can do all of that. Put the team on my back, and we're going to make it happen. And Trevor Lawrence showed that he could be that guy. So you watch him, then you watch how Travis Etienne, how he became more vital to this offense, his versatility, running the ball between the tackles, but also, getting out there and being an extra weapon in the passing game. Those weapons they brought over, the Christian Kirk signing, man. Now, let's go back into this because I don't think we showed enough appreciation to this. And my dog Willie Jack in here, but let's talk about this a little bit. Christian Kirk went over to the Jacksonville Jaguars and got signed for $22 million a year. And at that time, a lot of us looked at that deal like, oh man, they may overpay him. But the way that he was used in this particular offense showed why they saw certain things in him and they knew what he can do, and they used him in the correct way. They didn't try to do something that was out of his skill set. They used him for what he was good at. And because of that, they got their money's worth. At least for that last year, they got their money's worth out of Christian Kirk. Now you bring over some help. Help is on the way, with Calvin Ridley. Now, he's been a year out of the game as well. But the level of distraction and I don't mean to compare the situation, but what I'm saying is, with his situation, I still think he was able to focus, still work on his game, still go to train, still do all those different things to help you stay in shape and help you stay ready for the game. So now it's just getting him back in what they call game shape, getting you used to guys on you, covering, getting you back used to the contact, getting you used to all those different things and in rhythm with Trevor Lawrence. Calvin really is a very talented receiver and a guy that has 4.3 speed. And I think that him being in addition to this offense can take them to that next level. They also need those other draft picks on the defensive side of the ball to show what they're really capable of. The Trayvon Walkers, the #1 overall pick from last year. They need him to step up, be that #1 overall pick. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different things there, but I think they have a lot of things in place. And I do think this is their division to lose versus them trying to win a division against one of these other teams. So with them sitting at 10 wins, like I said, they got 9 last year. I can go over. That's over. But a part of the reason I think they're gonna go over too is because of the division, and we're gonna talk about some of the other teams in the division. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and go with the Titans, man. Let's go with the Titans. Titans, another team in this division. They're sitting at 7.5. Okay, 7.5 wins. I'm gonna go barely over, and I'm sitting at 8. Now, Willie Jack, my dog Willie Jack is not as high on the Titans as I am, and which, don't get me wrong, I'm not high. I'm not high on this team in terms of I think they're going to be a playoff contending team. I'm higher in terms of I don't think they're bottom of the league type of material. I think they can be 8 wins, just 8 wins. If they go 8 wins, I think that's where they're at right now. They have a lot of different roster wise. They don't have one of the strongest rosters. They're really, really wide on Derrick Henry. I'm also not 100% sure that Derrick Henry is going to be on this team as they go into the season. Derrick Henry could be one of those guys where are they looking to get some draft capital, move on from that, shake from that, and move on and get some more draft picks to start building this team. They got some young guys over there, but I think that they are open to trading Derrick Henry. And if there's a team that calls, maybe at the beginning of the season, maybe a few games into the season that may be in position to where we can make a real playoff push if we get this one piece. It could be a team that be calling, and if they call, that could be something that the Tennessee Titans might bite for, especially if they are going into the season without any high expectations. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. But yeah, I got them at 8 wins though. I think they can go 8-9, and I got them at 8-9 as the second best team in this division. I don't think this division is going to be that strong. Jaguars can probably push for 11 wins. I see the Titans sitting at about 8, and then kind of goes down from there. Which leads me to my next team in the Indianapolis Colts. All right. And sis in the building, what's going on, sis? How you living? Appreciate y'all for tapping in with your boy. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. Indianapolis Colts know where they are. They know where they are. They are a team that's in build mode. They just got their QB out of Florida, Anthony Richardson. We know he's a project. If we watch this game, watch this skill set, I feel like he's a little bit of a project. Now, he's going to be dangerous right away. I think the question still remains, is he going to be the week 1 starter? Does he start right out the gate? And if we base it off his experience, his college game tape and things like that, he may be sitting for a couple games. But, I mean, who knows? We've seen other things happen. And he could very well be the starter coming out, especially if he shows that he can be okay in the passing game. We know he can run the ball. We can call read option all day. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be dangerous. And I think that could be dangerous for years to come if he pans out with the pairing him with Jonathan Taylor. That could be really, really dangerous. And that alone could, put him in a position where he'll be up there in terms of rushing as a rushing quarterback, as far as production with Lamar Jackson's, the Justin Fields, those type of guys. That's the type of talent that this guy and Anthony Richardson has. He's just bigger. You know what I mean? He's bigger and stronger, than both of those guys. So that's what they're looking at. That's going to be their project. Their line is sitting at 6.5, and I'm going to go under on that 6.5. I can see them getting anywhere from 3 to 5 wins, on this particular team. That's just where they are right now. They're in build mode. So I don't think this is a knock on this team at all. And if they do get over 5 wins, anything above 5 wins is a plus for them. So I got them sitting there anywhere between 3 to 5 wins on this season. And, I think that's where they're going to sit. Which leads me to my next team, the Houston Texans. All right. Houston Texans, another team that's in very similar position, just like the Colts. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because they got their rookie guy. They got their young guy, C.J. Stroud, but then they come right back and get Will Anderson. Okay. So now I know my dog Willie Jack wasn't as high on Will Anderson. On my side, I wasn't super duper high. No, I wasn't as high on Will Anderson either, but I still think he has potential, if that makes sense. So if these 2 picks pan out, they could be the anchors of this team on both sides of the ball. Okay. Of course, we know what quarterbacks do and what they bring to the table, how valuable they can be on a week-to-week basis, on a game-to-game basis. We also know how valuable a piece like a defensive end, a valuable edge rusher can be on a team. We watch, and that's the guy. This is a guy name we like to use all the time. But we watch Von Miller come and he can control a game just with his ability to get after the passer. We saw him in the Super Bowl against the Carolina Panthers, when he was with the Broncos. We saw him in the Super Bowl against the Bengals, when he was with the Rams. We saw him in playoff games close some games out as well. So we know how valuable this position can be, when you're building off of these guys. So if they're able to connect on these pieces, I think that in a few years we're talking about, a team that's going to be competing for the lead in this division, if those 2 pieces pan out. They got a solid defense. I think that defense is very, very underrated. A lot of guys not necessarily on their radar, but I think they could be a very, very good defense moving forward. I like Dameon Pierce, at the running back position, showed a lot of promise, being a guy being drafted late. So they got some spots. They got some things over there. Of course, they're going to continue to build. So sitting at 5.5, I'm going to go under as well. I got them sitting at 5 or same place as the Colts. Anywhere 3 to 5 wins, I think they can get. But I don't see them getting any more than that. And if they do get over 5, I got them going. I got that being icing on the cake as well. So that's where I'm sitting at with the Houston Texans, which leads me to the last division. And what a lot of people feel like could be. Well, going into last year, felt like for sure this was the most competitive position. Oh, well, before we move on to this division, before we jump into the first team, we got a couple questions, man. Got a couple questions. First off, we got Tom in here. First off, we got Texan Tom in here. As everybody should probably know by now, Tom is a Houston Texans fan, so he's going to root for the over. He's going to say they're going to be in the Super Bowl. He's going to say, whatever the case may be. If it's good, he going to say it. He tried to put them boys in historic conversations. And them boys ain't ready for all that yet. You know what I'm saying, Tom? So slow down just a little bit. We got my boy Tom in here. But Willie Jack came in here, man. He says, Anthony Richardson, is he the offensive rookie of the year? That's a good question, Willie Jack. That's a good question. And my thing for that is that's really going to depend on how fast he can develop and how soon he starts. I'm not 100% sure that he starts right away. But then on top of that, it's a guy over in Atlanta that's a rookie. And that's going to be toting that rock. I think he might be touching that ball 300 times right now, his rookie year, that could look a lot like Breece Hall looked this past year, in his rookie year, in his first year. I think Bijan Robinson is dangerous right away. And if we had to throw him out there early, I think he might be my pick. Bijan Robinson might be my pick for offensive rookie of the year, right away. And I think it's going to be, he's going to be nice, man. He's going to be nice. Now, it's going to be tough, too, because you still can talk about guys like, Bryce Young with the Carolina Panthers and even C.J. Stroud. You know what I'm saying? I think all those guys could be in the conversation because I do think Bryce Young is going to be a starter right away. I think C.J. Stroud is going to be a starter right away. Of course, Bijan Robinson. Anthony Richardson, I have a few more questions about, but I do think I do think if he starts, he has an opportunity, especially if he can hit the ground rolling. You know what I'm saying? If he can hit the ground rolling and make some plays with his legs, he could be dangerous, man. So here we go. And my boy Tom, man, my bad, man. I'm sorry, man, but I keep it real, man. When we talking about the Houston Texans, I'm gonna talk to you. Hey, man, we can't cancel the show, man. We can't cancel the show, man. So that's where we sitting there. But that's where I sit there with those teams. So let's go ahead and move to the next division. Now, as I was saying, this division going into last season, I felt like this division could be, or probably on paper, was the best division in the league. Of course, it didn't finish quite that way. Some teams didn't necessarily turn out to be teams that we thought they could be. So it is what it is. But now we move into a new season. All right. And the first team we're going to talk about is the Kansas City Chiefs, man, the AFC West. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs, their line is sitting at 11.5. And if you're wondering why I'm pausing and wondering if your boy going to do this, that means your boy Chop. Chiefs under 11.5 games. Your boy banging that under. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think they're a playoff team. I still think they're an 11-win team. Okay. They're an 11-win team. But I don't think the Chiefs are as strong as they were years previous. As I talked about before with Orlando Brown going over to the Bengals, I think that's a key piece. Okay. And the reason I bring that up is because we watched this prolific offense, a dangerous offense in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Bucks, banged up with a banged up offensive line. Patrick Mahomes is running all over the place. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I'm not saying that it's going to look exactly like they look. Tampa Bay had one of the best defense, actually the best defense in the league the year they won the Super Bowl. So I don't see the Chiefs being like that all season. I do think they fall in the middle of that somewhere in between how they looked in the Super Bowl and the offensive line performance they showed last season in the Super Bowl where they didn't allow the team that was leading the league in sacks a sack at all the whole game. I think they fall in between there somewhere. I don't think their offensive line is going to be one of the best. I don't think they're going to be one of the worst. But I do think they'll have some struggles at times this season, depending on the teams they're going to be going against. Okay, and I think that'll have an effect on Pat Mahomes. I also think that it'll be an effect. It'll finally show a little bit more of this offense in terms of a little bit of I don't want to say it's not going to be a super regression, but a little bit of regression from this offense in total in terms of the points they scored, the total offense, all those different things. They're not going to be as strong of a team as they were in the previous year. And then, as I say all the time, Father Time is undefeated, man. I keep telling y'all that Father Time is undefeated, okay? And with Father Time being undefeated, Travis Kelce is continuing to get older, man. Travis Kelce is, let me see how old Travis Kelce is right now. Let me pull it up real quick for y'all. Travis Kelce is 33, okay? Now, Travis Kelce also doesn't play the quarterback position, the position where you drop back and you can kind of sit, where your lack of athleticism doesn't necessarily mean, you're going to be bad at that position. You know what I'm saying? That's not the top priority at that position. Whereas at tight end, he uses a lot of his athletic ability, you know what I'm saying, his body and, all those different things. So I'm not saying he's going to take a step back this year, but I'm saying at some point, Father Time is undefeated, man. Father Time is undefeated, okay? This is also a team that's really top-heavy on the defensive side of the ball. So all in all, I think this is a playoff team for sure, but I'm gonna go under, man. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go with the road less traveled, and I say the Chiefs win tops 11 games. So that's where I'm sitting. I'm banging it over on at 11.5 for the Chiefs. All right, which brings me to the next team, the new AFC West champions. Okay, the new AFC West champions, the Los Angeles Chargers. All right, I'm calling it right now. The Los Angeles Chargers will win this division, which of course means I'm banging it over at this 9.5. They 9.5. That's where they sitting at. I'm going over. First off, I think that's a little disrespectful for this team because I think teams kind of, forget about, really how good this team was. Okay, with all the injuries that they had last year. Herbert with the rib injury. You know what I mean? Mike Williams in and out of the lineup. Keenan Allen in and out of the lineup. Bosa out of the lineup, only playing 5 games last year. J.C. Jackson only playing 5, or maybe it may be less than 5 games last year. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys only played a few games last year, and now they come into the season fully healthy, adding another weapon on offense. And you expect me to think they're gonna have less than 9.5 games? No, I'm going over on this one. And I think they take over this division. And I think they can come out of here with 13 wins. Yeah, I'm calling it 13. Hold on, just in case y'all ain't heard me. Y'all might not have heard me in the back. The Los Angeles Chargers will win 13 games this season. Straight face. I ain't changing. So, and it's because of all the things that I said, man. They're gonna come into this season fully healthy. That what you was looking for from Justin Herbert, Willie Jack, you're gonna see it this season. You're gonna see that boy turn over that new leaf this season because he heard it. He heard me. He actually hit me up. He like, hey man, I gotta do all OC right now. And Willie going too far. Willie Jack talking a little bit too much trash for me. My dog Willie Jack say, hey, I ain't that guy. You know what I'm saying? I got all the talent. I ain't an elite. I'm gonna show you elite. I'm gonna show you elite, and that's all I'm gonna say, Chop. And he hung up on me, so I had no choice to believe it because I messed with J Hebb. I messed with J Hebb or J Herb. No, that's J Herb. Oh, I got a new nickname, baby. I messed with J Herb. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So they come out, they win this division. The Los Angeles Chargers win 13 games this season, man. So I'm banging it over there. Move on to the next team. The Raiders sitting at 7.5. I'm gonna go under on this one, man. I'm gonna go under. I keep telling a lot of people, and I kept telling a lot of people who Jimmy G was. When people thought Jimmy G really had the sauce a few years ago, when he was playing and really thought he was doing something and doing this and doing that, I kept trying to tell people, man, Jimmy G is really not that good. I watch him play for play, down for down. My guy couldn't throw outside of the numbers consistently. He routinely overthrew. He made mistakes. That's who Jimmy G was. Jimmy G, this ain't about Jimmy G. It's about the Raiders. This is about the Raiders. So here's my thing. Y'all gonna see why I see it there from the jump. And y'all gonna see why Jimmy G is not that good. That system over there in San Francisco, I almost was gonna say it's QB proof. I don't think it's QB proof, but it definitely aids, or helps certain quarterbacks. And now I think it did wonders for Jimmy G. The reason Jimmy G is making the money he's making right now, he better thank Kyle Shanahan for that. You know what I'm saying? Thank him. You know what I'm saying? So I think Jimmy G, y'all gonna see a lot from Jimmy G. It makes me feel sorry for my dog Devontae, the best receiver in the game. You know what I'm saying? And Willie, you can't defend it because you ain't know her. So I think this team is gonna run into some struggles this season. It's gonna be tough. Mike Daniels, you got your work cut out for you, my brother. You know what I mean? I know you like Jimmy G. I know you like what he brought to the table when he was over in New England, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that ain't it. That ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And I think y'all gonna have some struggles this season. I think this entire division is gonna be better than people think. Hint, hint on this next team I'm gonna touch on. But I think this division is gonna be a little bit better than people think. And I think the Raiders are just gonna struggle, man. They need defensive pieces. They need, a lot of different things. And of course, I'm the part I'm down the most on is that QB position. So I'm going under for this Raiders team. Like I said, they lined is at 7.5. If they win 4 games, that's where I'm at, man. Raiders 4 games. Which leads me to the very last team of the AFC that we're going to touch on today. The last team in the AFC West, the Denver Broncos. Let's ride. Y'all remember that? Broncos country. Let's ride. Hey, so check this out, man. I'm going to go over for the Broncos, man. I'm going to go over for the Broncos, sitting at 8.5. Their line is sitting at 8.5. And I'm going to tell you why. And I think the major difference is going to be another year in for Russell. But I also think that it's going to be Sean Payton. Okay? Sean Payton is going to be key to this team. Sean Payton's the guy on this team. Sean Payton's going to get things in order. And he's going to have this team running the way it needs to be ran. Okay? You still got a lot of good pieces on this team. And I think with the pieces that they have, I think they're good enough. It's just about making it work. And Russell Wilson had a horrible season last season. He played terrible. But I think we're going to see a drastic improvement. So if we had another one, you already talked about the offensive rookie of the year, Willie Jack. If we talked about most improved player, go ahead and book it, man. I'm my most improved player going into this season, Russell Wilson. I'm calling it right now. Russell Wilson will be the most improved player going into this 2023 season. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to get back to Pro Bowl form. He's going to get back to top 8 QB form, and I think we're going to see a lot of good things for him. Okay, another good piece too, in which this is what I imagine with the Denver Broncos. We know Javonte Williams is coming off of that tough injury, and I think he's a monster. I think he's a beast. But bringing over Samaje Perine to help out in this passing game, I think it's going to be key. We already know what Sean Payton can do with pass-catching running backs, okay, with a guy over there in Alvin Kamara. Now, I'm not saying that this guy is Alvin Kamara. I don't think he's going to be it. I don't think it's going to be close to the level of success. But I think he's going to be able to do enough with Samaje Perine to where Samaje Perine is a part of this offense, a healthy part of this offense. You know what I mean? They still got a lot of the same pieces. And a guy that people are not talking about as much that's going to be back, that's going to be key, and who was key for this team in 2021 was Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick suffered a season-ending injury before the season even started. So adding Tim Patrick to this lineup with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, I think it's going to be key for this team as well. And I think that, like I said, with the addition of Sean Payton, all the things they brought to the table, we're going to be looking at a team that's going to be right in the mix. Okay. They already got a pretty solid defense. They've been playing some good defense all year last year. And now I think they're going to finally put it together. So I'm going Denver Broncos over 8.5. I can see them getting 10, possibly 11 wins. 10, possibly 11 wins for the Denver Broncos. I think they're going to be solid. I think they're going to be good. And that's what I'm rocking with, man. So there you have it. I have Did every team in the AFC today. I'm gonna get on Willie Jack. I'm gonna make him do his overs and unders, man, based off of this too. But he probably gonna put it in the Facebook on the Facebook page so y'all can check his out. But running through mine really quick again, man. In the AFC East, the Bills, I got them over 10.5. Patriots under 7.5. Dolphins, I got them over 9.5, but barely. Jets over 9.5, but barely. You know, moving on to the AFC North, we got the Bengals. Over 11.5. Ravens over 9.5. Steelers, I'm going over, but I really think they're gonna get 9 wins. They sitting at 9. I think they're gonna really get 9 wins. But if I had to bank on anything, I'm not gonna say Mike Tomlin is gonna win less or have a losing record. I'm not gonna ever say that. So I gotta go 9. Gotta go over on that one, and then the Browns go over as well, but barely over 8.5. Okay, moving on to the AFC South. I got the Jaguars. They sitting at 10. I got them going over, but barely. They probably get 11 wins in this division. And I got everybody else under. Titans under 7.5. Colts under 6.5. Texans under 5.5. And moving on to the last division, the division I just touched on. Chiefs under 11.5. I got them sitting at 11 wins on the season. Chargers at over, banging it over. They winning this division. Keep on saying that to y'all. I'm gonna keep on saying that till it ring in your head. Over 9.5. I got the Raiders under 7.5. And I got the Broncos over 8.5. So there you have it. That's it. That's all. I've ran through each and every team in the AFC. Me and Willie Jack last week did each and every team in the NFC. There is all your overs and unders based off the projected win totals. There you have it. Another episode in the books today. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man, for tapping in with your boys. You know what I'm saying? And just to run through the list, man, we had Willie Jack in the building, Tom in the building. We had Sis in the building, Kiara in the building. We had Wifey in the building. We had moms in the building. We had a whole plethora of people that all tapped in and checked in with your boy today, and I appreciate you, man. Again, we apologize that we didn't have the combo together today. You know what I'm saying, to bounce off of each other. You know what I'm saying, to deliver that knowledge. And that's my dog from Do the Knowledge. My dog from Do the Knowledge, man. As he says, man, that's what he said. He says, "Do the knowledge, man." We appreciate y'all. And like I said again, we appreciate everybody for tapping in. Tune in with your boys every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Same bat time. You know, just a different bat channel. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Tune in with your boys. Me and Willie Jack gonna get together. We're gonna discuss what we're gonna talk about next week. You know what I'm saying? If we forgot to call your name in the chat, you know, charge it to our head, not our hearts. Hey, but we'll be back. All right. So tapping with your boys Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. We'll be back. And just like that. Peace.